Well, hello there. How are you going today? Thanks for joining me. My name's Campbell. This is Autodidactic 2, and it's time to take another stroll through the strange realm we find ourselves in.
There are 15 major religions in the world before Christianity that have taught the same thing. It is a very ancient, old story. That's why the Bible is called the greatest story ever told. Astrotheology is the basis for all religion in the world, period. Theology is the worship of a religion, and astro, the worship of the heavens. From as far back in history as we can go, man has always worshipped the heavens. That's why we're even told in Western civilization that when you die, you'll go to heaven. The whole concept of the sun, S-O-N, God's Son, goes directly back to the old concept of God's Son, S-U-N, being the risen Savior, because the Son is the risen Savior. It does rise. And of course, God's Son, S-U-N, the Egyptians said had an evil brother. He was the Prince of Darkness, and he came out at night to rule the world. When God's Son died and went away, the world was in the hands of the Prince of Darkness, and his name was Set, and he came out at sunset. The Egyptians said that newborn son that came up every morning, his name was Horus. I'm not saying there's not good spirituality in the Bible. I am saying that it has been twisted and used by political powers for a political agenda to keep us ignorant, ill-informed, and unread, depending on the Lord to come back to help us, when in fact there is no Lord coming back to help us. Education, knowledge, and your own personal spirituality and investigation of what the story is really about. Do your homework. That's the only salvation we have left.
Jordan Maxwell, RIP, he did amazing work, one of the OGs. And yeah, what do you think? All this religion stuff, is it just astrotheology, which, like you said, is basically, the worship, or at least the understanding that we are ruled by certain energies, and that those energies are at least reflected in the heavens, right? The movements of the stars and the planets. That's why we have things like horoscopes, right? And the sun. I mean, I actually worked this out when I was quite young. Like the sun, it's the same word, right? S-U-N, S-O-N, the Son of God. It's the same word. And then you have all these people going on about sun worship, and the Allites are sun worshippers. Yeah, right. That they're worshipping the old type of stuff is what I think is they understand the teachings. They understand how to use this information to get in flow, right? To basically help the energies, the frequencies of this realm we find ourselves in, to help them get what they want, to help them have better lives. And they keep that information from us, and they tell us, no, it's all a physical story, right? About a man named Jesus and the devil and all this kind of stuff. And, then we have, Set from Egypt, sunset. We have Horus, like you mentioned, the horizon. And of course, Horus, you just, put the U back a few letters and you get hours. And of course, these Allites love to control time, which, we all know about, right? The calendars, the years, all the dating is all completely wrong, right? And I find it interesting, the whole 12, right? The 12 hours, the 12 months. They've put us in this decimal system, or at least me in Australia, right, where everything's 10. But then, time seems to be divided in 12s. And the only other 12 we get is the dozen, right? Eggs. Eggs are sold in 12s. Eggs, new life, I don't know, is there a connection? And of course, the baker's dozen, but that's not really used much anymore. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Do the Allites actually understand this old esoteric wisdom, and they're using it to help them control us? And in so doing, they're keeping all the information from us that would help us get rid of them.
You know about the evil cabal that runs the world, okay? You know that money isn't real, okay? You know that they are keeping us sick on purpose. You know all of these things. I don't need to teach you these things, but I do need to remind you how fucking powerful you are, and that God has a mission for you, and that the longer that you entertain the negative thoughts in your mind, and I know this is hard. Last week, I'm not going to tell you, I was not cute. I was not cute because my mind had me by the balls, and I let it drag me across the room into I just spit. I'm so sorry. I just let my thoughts drag me across the room in such a negative frequency. And when I woke up and I remembered who the fuck I am, I realized that that is what I want to give you. That is what I want to offer you. And that is why I'm having a workshop this Saturday. I'm so excited. I have chills. Holy freaking shit. You know all of these things, and yet you're not applying them because the information that you have acquired through your awakening process is quite literally paralyzing you because this world is dark and it's heavy. And how the heck are you supposed to do anything about it? And I know, oh my God, okay, hold on. You're not here to save the entire planet, okay? You are here to embody who the freak you are at the level of your soul. In everything that you do, you need to speak your truth. You need to scream it. You need to express yourself first. And then that authentic vibration is going to inspire everybody to wake up. The point is to free minds. Imprisoned minds are everywhere. When I go into the mall, when I go into the grocery store, I see imprisoned minds that are stuck on programming. The only thing that you need to do is embody your authentic light so freaking hard that they have no other choice but to slowly come out of the hypnosis by only interacting with your energetic field. Okay? I know this is... Just join the workshop. I'm not even kidding. I have too much to say. I want to be here for 4 hours, but you just join the workshop and then I'm just going to bleh. Because if I do it right now, well, go and join. I swear, you guys, I've been getting so many freaking downloads about this stuff. You don't want to miss the workshop. I am booming. I am beaming. And I just want to share it with you. I have to calm down. I'm not even kidding. This is too much. It's like, oh my God, I know what to do and I know what to tell you. I know what to tell you to bring you back. Come on, come back. So just join the workshop. I'll see you on Saturday, okay?
Well, there you go. She was excited. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what she said. I didn't know that she was advertising a workshop in there, but, you know, if you feel the need, go and check it out. Let me know if you do it. I'd be interested to hear. But, you know, it's true that we're not here to save the world. We're not here to wake people up and all this stuff. You know, this was going on in, you know, a couple of years ago. Oh, I wake this person up. I wake up all these people. No, you didn't. You didn't, right? You can't wake anyone up. You might be, you know, the 50th person they come in contact with who says something, and that might be the bit that goes, oh, or makes them see something, but that doesn't mean you woke them up. And what does waking them up mean? It means you got them to agree with your point of view. So that's not, that's not, you know, a good use of your time or energy, in my opinion. And the whole, you know, imprisoned mind, you know, this is what a lot of people are calling NPCs. And I don't like that term, you know, non-player character, because it's putting them below us, right? If you're walking around going, everyone's an NPC, you're saying that you're better than them. You're more human. You have more of a soul, whatever it is. They are just people who are stuck in the program and they just can't see. I mean, clearly there's people that we can't even talk to because of the level of programming. But calling them NPCs and trying to make them lower than you is exactly what the elites do and what they want, and it's division. But in the end, we are powerful, right? What are we supposed to be doing down here? Well, being autodidactic for one, right? But yeah, I think figuring out what this place is and trying to get through it. And the more we get tied up in the story, in the minutiae, in all of the media, all of this stuff that's being thrown at us, especially this year. I mean, geez, talk about starting off with a bang. That's just to get your attention, because when you're focused on them and all the stuff they're putting out, you're not focused on yourself. You're not focused on learning and going forward. You're not in service, right? You're not in service to others. You're in service to self, because you're worried because doomsday is coming. Oh my God, and you got to save yourself. But it's all BS, in my opinion. It's all manufactured, and all this stuff about end of the world and people, oh my God, the world's ending. Guys, it's all just a story, all a show. We've been hearing this. It's been around, you know, for at least the last couple of 100 years, right? I mean, last century, we can start off with the wars, right? World War I, World War II, that went into the Cold War. Then after World War II, the aliens started popping up, the space aliens. Then the Cold War, you know, Cuban Missile Crisis, into the nukes, right? The whole nuclear thing in the 80s, you know, that movie The Day After, everything's going to be destructive. Then that went into global warming, which obviously everyone went, hang on, it's not warming. So it turned to climate change, right? And now we've got imminent World War III and, you know, economic collapse And of course, in the USA, we just had the polar vortex, right? The storm of the century was going to wipe everyone out and destroy all the towns and take out the energy, the electricity grid, all this stuff. And really nothing happened, which is every single time nothing happens. So don't buy into it, right? Do not believe the hype.
There's a secret hack to stop being so pissed off. You're going to love this one. It's 3 easy steps to regain control of your state of being. If you're new here, I'm Michael. I help you up spiral your life. If you're into that, follow me and click the link in my bio. Step 1, shut your mouth. Do not speak from anger. It may feel good in the moment, but neurologically, it's a trap. Every time you vent, you're reinforcing the anger circuit in your brain. And we've all heard that common phrase, neurons that fire together, wire together. That's Hebb's law. What that means is you're training your brain to get good at being pissed off. And no, complaining about it, talking about it, doesn't get it out. It gets it deeper in. You're not releasing the anger, you're rehearsing it. And silence breaks the pattern. Silence is your first act of power. Step 2, do a U-turn. Whatever's got you pissed off, another person, a situation, a circumstance, it's not outside you. That pissed off energy, that's inside you. And it's just a part of you. It's a protective part of you. And it's guarding something tender and sensitive inside you. So get curious. Ask yourself, what's this anger trying to shield me from? That's the U-turn. That's the move. That's taking leadership inside your own mind. Because now you're not swimming in the anger, you're watching it. And the second you get curious, the broadcast you're sending out into the quantum field changes. Suddenly you're broadcasting self-awareness, not attack. Self-inquiry, not blame. And the quantum field responds to that shift. It always does. And it brings you more of the same in return. That's how law of attraction works. So instead of broadcasting anger and getting back more things to be angry about, you're broadcasting curiosity and self-awareness. And the quantum field returns to you more reasons to be curious and self-aware. Step 3, anchor all of this in your body. Because anger doesn't just live in your mind, it also lives in your body. So if you don't move the anger and help it transform, you end up storing the anger in your tissues. So what do? You splash cold water on your face for 10 seconds. This powerfully activates the vagus nerve, which is your body's calm switch, and it puts your prefrontal cortex back online, and that's the part of your brain that's responsible for logic, reasoning, and creativity. You can go a step further by sitting for 3 minutes and doing deep breaths in your belly. This further activates the vagus nerve and pulls you out of fight or flight and into calm really fast. And it will allow you to turn the hot energy of anger into resources you can actually use. Here's the big takeaway. People who stay pissed off have lost control of what they think, say, and feel. They react, they blame, they loop. And the law of attraction doesn't care about your good intentions. It cares about your frequency. And powerful people, they control their mind, their mouth, and their mood. They get curious, and curiosity opens the door to creativity, and creativity opens the door to solutions. And the signal that they end up broadcasting? Clarity, power, forward motion. And that's exactly what the universe delivers back to them. The law of attraction is never off. It's like gravity. It's always on, and it's always in the full power position. So get out of the anger loop and regain control of your life instead of your life controlling you. Right, control my life in the comments to remember all of this in your body. Control my life in the comments. Like the video, follow me, and my book on manifestation is available on Amazon, but you can get a half-price digital copy at the link in my bio. Vibrant beings, have a great day.
Up Spiral, interesting. I've actually got a YouTube channel called Spiral Up. I actually haven't done much on there for, coming up a year now. I've just been too busy, but I agree with what he says. You know, when you get angry at someone and you're thinking all these thoughts in your head of how you're going to make them pay, they don't even know you're thinking about them. They don't. So all of that negative energy is in you and it is affecting your body. That's why people die of stress-related disease. You can literally give yourself a heart attack by getting in this state too often. And it doesn't solve anything. It does not help you go forward. So, you know, I think, yeah, definitely have a listen to what he said. You know, grab his book if it makes sense. But definitely everything is frequency, right? And so we need to take control and live life from the inside out. You know, be in the world, but not of the world. You know, be like a tourist walking around, but don't be part of the system. Don't be part of the collective. Don't think that this is the be all and end all, because the whole world that they project at us and want us to believe is reality is the physical world. The physical world is pretty much an illusion. Like, you can pretty much prove, right, that we see what we expect to see. We have a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, or the RAS, and it literally will pick out the bits of life to show you, right, that you actually notice. And this is why when we want a new car, suddenly you go driving and suddenly they're everywhere. You see that car everywhere. Were the cars there before? Well, of course they were. You just didn't notice them because it wasn't something that you were looking for. So the same with anger. If you're walking around going, oh my God, everyone's, so bad, they're all NPCs. Why don't they see? Why aren't they doing it? You're telling your mind, show me this, because your mind also doesn't understand negative. So if you're like, I've got no money and I don't like this, your brain just hears I've got no money, and it will show you all the evidence for that. That's why you can have two people walk down the street, same day. One's got a positive attitude, they'll see all the good stuff. They'll see people being nice, they'll see the flowers and all this stuff, and the person with the negative will just see the bad stuff. They'll see people arguing, they'll see the rubbish on the street, whatever, because we can't see everything. There's too much information coming at us for our eyes and our mind to take in, right? So the RAS, the reticular activating system, is the filter, and it shows you what you want to see, what you tell it you want to see. Its job is basically to make you right. So, focus on what you want. If things are annoying you, why? Ask why, because it's always you. I said it, I think, in the last video. Everything's your fault. It is, because you are the only one at the driver's wheel making decisions, right? And so if you're, everything's bad. Why do I keep seeing all the bad? It's because that's what you're looking for. That's what you're focused on, right? Energy flows where attention goes.
Everything they've told you about these cathedrals is a complete lie. These were not places of worship, and they were never built or designed to be a church. These were healing centers. But how do these centers actually heal you? Through light and geometry. Now let me explain. If I shine a light through a geometric pattern, this pattern represents a specific frequency. This is what you call cymatics. Every frequency has its own sacred geometric pattern. So when you shine a light through this medium, it changes the frequency and becomes that cymatic pattern. Plus the colored stained windows, right? Red, blue, purple. This is light therapy. When you shine light rays through a specific color, it blocks out all of the other colors and only lets through the red light, for example, if it goes through the red. So this is allowing red, blue, and purple through. And what this does is have healing effects on the human body and the biofield. So all of this was technology. This is why when you walk inside of these places, you feel high energy, you feel different.
Color therapy in the cathedrals. I've done a lot of many videos on cathedrals, and I definitely believe that they are nothing to do with religion or worship. Worship outside of us are all to do with healing. Like you said, all the windows, right? The stained glass windows, when the light comes through, you get the frequencies of color, because everything's frequency, right? Everything's energy, and energy expresses itself in multiple ways. One of them being color. Another one is geometry, right? As in cymatics. Then, of course, we have sound, vibration, all these different ways that we interpret frequency. And of course, everything is frequency, right? Even down to touch, is us interpreting frequency, and that works a slightly different way, but we'll get into that in another video. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think about the cathedrals? What do you think they are? Have you been in many? I'm lucky enough to have been in quite a few. I've traveled a bit. I've been in cathedrals in Australia, in the USA, in Europe, and they're always the same. They're literally the same design, right? And we're told that, you know, they were built, you know, in Australia, of course, they were built in the 1850s, they tell us. But you'll find the exact same cathedral in Europe, and they'll tell you that was built in the 1100s, right? But they never can tell us how they built them. But you see these cymatic shapes, the windows everywhere in cathedrals, and it's all to heal us, right? To energize our aura, right? Which he called the biofield, which is the new name, right? The scientific name for the aura, right? That the biofield, the field of your biology, basically, because, you know, our bodies are bigger than the physical. You know, our energy field actually arrives before we do. This is why people can sense, you know, if they like people or if they don't like people, right? Because your energy arrives before you do. But what do you think about cathedrals? Have you been in one? Have you tried any of these things for healing? At the moment, I've got a frequency generator I'm using. I'll let you know how that goes. I've only had it not even a week. But there's many different ways to heal ourselves energetically, not through the medicine, right? The half sin system, you know, and we know what that does, right? We all know what happened in 2020, and that it's all about money, right? And poisoning us. And that's all they want to do, really, is poison us. And who are they? The elites. Why would they want to do this? Because they're not us, and we've been invaded, in my humble opinion. But guys, do remember, this is just all for entertainment purposes only. All alleged, right? Do not believe anything I say. Do not believe anything on the videos. Come to your own conclusions. Gather your own information. Get different points of view and be autodidactic. And also, be a subscriber. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Give me a like, hype the video, all that kind of good stuff, and leave me your comments.
Is there something bad coming? And why is over half the food, candies, formula they're testing all showing up with poison in it? I mean, just think about that for a second before we start watching it. Why would arsenic be in the food? Don't forget, I showed you guys not too long ago about how we have major births declining all across the country. Not even enough to repopulate. And don't even get me started on the trends of sicknesses, but also in baby formula. We'll get to the candy in 1 second.
So under this initiative of the governor has mentioned, we started with baby formula because there is no more vulnerable population than, of course, babies are the youngest among us. The Florida Department of Health, we tested 24 different baby formulas, and then what they found was very troubling. They found that in 16 of the 24, they contained elevated levels of arsenic, cadmium, mercury, and lead.
In over half. I mean, that's just insane. Who would allow that to happen, right? How would it get in there in the first place? Who could be at fault?
I think the federal government.
And then we get into the candy. I'm glad I stopped eating candy years ago.
Next, as promised, the attention has turned to another category heavily consumed by children, and that is candy. Through independent testing conducted by certified laboratories, the Florida Department of Health tested 46 different candy brands from 10 different companies. Of those, 33 were traditional, well-known candies, brands that we grew up with, things like Three Musketeers and Snickers and Skittles and Nerds and Kit Kats and Jolly Ranchers. In 26 of the 33 traditional candy brands tested, arsenic was detected at elevated levels.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? We're not even talking about all the artificial colors and other things in the candy. And for some reason, I've seen two people say it, Aiden Ross and someone else in high society, where they say we have another situation coming like 2019, 2020, and they're absolutely sure of it.
I'm telling you, there's going to be another quarter. Sure. I wish, yeah, there is. 100%.
I had to cut part of it out so it'd be allowed. So yeah, what do y'all think? Awfully weird, right?
Well, it's not that weird to me. Why? Because it's quite apparent that they are putting poison everywhere. They're poisoning the water systems. Clearly, they're poisoning the food. They're poisoning the skies. They're spraying all the crops with poison. All the synthetic clothes we're wearing, right? Not good for us. To the point where, like Crocs, right? Please don't wear Crocs. When crops get hot in the sun, they start leaching out forever chemicals straight into your soul, right? The sole of your feet. As with everything, all the stuff that we're surrounded with, all this fake, unnatural plastics, basically, right? Plastics, where did that come from? Well, look into DuPont, right? It's always the same, the usual suspects, right? It's always the same names pop up. And candy is always brightly coloured, right? When you go into nature, the things that are brightly coloured of the animals are the ones that are poisonous. And they're that colour so you know to stay away from them. Please don't feed your children candy. And sugar in general it's more addictive than heroin, and it's extremely bad for you. It breaks down the bottom. It breaks down the body. It gets into your bones and starts decalcifying them and gives things like osteoporosis. All of these diseases that, Big Pharma has got all the solutions for, they didn't exist 100 years ago. They are all introduced. It's all a plan. And why? Why would they do this? Because they hate us and they have invaded us. And on the last video, there was a video about depopulation, right? And they tell us this, and they've been telling us for decades that they want to wipe out a big part of the population, right? Because they're finding it hard to control us all. And so they want a small population of controlled men and women that basically do their bidding so that these elites can rule the world and live in luxury. That's my take on it anyway. Let me know yours.
Look at that. Look at the lightning. Look which direction it's all pointing. It's like right in these areas. I've not seen this pattern right here before. I really haven't. It looks like something's in the ocean, and this lightning is coming from something in the ocean. Because that's the path, kind of like that the storm is going to be going like that. Isn't that interesting? It's very interesting, you all.
Very interesting, y'all. See, I can speak Southern. This was just before the great polar vortex, the storm of the century that was supposed to wipe out America. And I found it interesting when she scrolled across a bit, you could see Russia and it was just red, right? What is this? It's weather modification. None of these weather events that we are experiencing at the moment are natural. None of them. Right? You look back in history, right? Like it's been since at least the 40s that they've at least been putting out documents saying that they are literally controlling the weather. We've all seen the lines in the sky, right? We know this is going on. And again, none of this is natural. This is an engineered apocalypse. This is them trying to get us to believe that we are evil little humans who are just destroying the world. And look, here's the evidence. Here's the evidence. The world's about to explode. Look what's happening, right? Storms, tsunamis, earthquakes, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you don't know, Nikola Tesla invented an earthquake machine, right? Back, I think it was the early 1900s, 1910s or so, that could bring down buildings. And it was handheld. It was small. So they can definitely create things like earthquakes and tsunamis, right, with their technology. And all the other stuff they're doing, all the stuff they're spraying in the sky, all the weather manipulation, it's not natural. Right? This is the elites. And again, why? Because they don't like us very much. But, all of this information, guys, it's to be aware, not scared. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to push any fear porn out there. I'm not trying to get people to doom scroll and all this stuff. That is not the way to go. What I'm trying to do is make people aware. When we are aware of problems, then we can fix them. If you don't know there's a problem, then clearly you can't fix it, right? Because there's nothing to fix. So how do we do this? Well, we don't get angry and start pointing fingers and say, oh my God, why do they keep doing this? Because we know, right? It doesn't take a lot of thinking to know why they're doing it. How do we stop it? Well, we need to be men and women again. We need to stop following things outside of us. We need to stop doing what we're told by the system. We need to start creating the world that we want to interact with, right? We need to stand up. We need to speak our truth, right? Even if your voice quivers, speak your truth, right? Get information out there, but don't push it, because that's not your job, right? But information is good. And that's why I like YouTube, because I can do this. I can put out my point of view. And if people like it, they can watch it. If they don't, they can change channels or leave me nasty comments. But it's not me telling anyone anything, right? Because everyone's point of view is valid. We are all pieces of the puzzle, and it's not up to me to say, I have all the answers. And just by the way, if anyone ever tells you they have all the answers, run, because no one has all the answers, clearly, because if they did, they would have ascended. They'd be living this amazing life. They wouldn't be affected by any of this stuff, right? Clearly. So that's another thing. Don't worship gurus. You know, we all talk about the government and, you know, my thoughts on religion. These are all things outside of us that want us to worship and obey them. That's not good. And so guru worship in any form, even if it's someone on YouTube, right? Worshipping and telling yourself they have the answers is, in my opinion, very bad. And the main reason is that if someone else has the answers, well, you stop researching, you stop thinking, you stop getting different points of view. Because why? Because you've got the answers. You know what is right and wrong. So another thing I'm big on is not judging circumstance. I say that we should judge people, not circumstance, right? So judge people. Clearly, if someone's running up to you with a knife yelling bad things, you've got to judge them as a threat and get out of there or defend yourself, right? But circumstance, it was like that first video or the second video we was talking about, when we think, when we have bad, interactions and we start, hating on people, that's inside of us. That's inside of us, and it only affects us. And this is what circumstances, if we start saying, well, this is bad and that's bad and this is good and that's not good, well, we're judging them, right? And so when you know something is good or bad, right or wrong, you're not going to look into anything else, right? You've stopped yourself learning anything else about that topic. So be autodidactic, my friends.
4 websites that feel illegal, but they're not. Mindluster.com. Get access to over 300,000 free courses. File Pizza. Upload any size file and you can download it from here. Redact.dev. Delete your social media presence with the click of a button. WeLive.org, an amazing open source website where you can access academic papers. Now double tap this and watch it again.
Yeah, there you go. I just found that and thought I'd put it in, right? They look like some interesting websites. So if you're interested in learning more, in educating yourself more, getting better perspectives and different perspectives, well, there was a site with thousands of free courses. I know everyone's flush with cash at the moment, especially in the economic environment we find ourselves in. It's getting harder and harder every day as things get more expensive. But there you go. There's a site full of free courses. Go and check it out. Social media, how to wipe your footprints off social media so that you're not getting tracked, so they don't knock on your door and try and throw you in jail for hurty words, right? So I just thought that, hopefully that helps some people out there. Go and check them out. And if you do, please let me know. What do you think? But I'm definitely going to go and have a look at them as well. And just one other thing that I forgot to say, there was, what was the video? I can't remember. I think it was the food video. Yeah, the food video. The number 33 popped up, right? In the lollies that they were, it's just something that I forgot that popped out at me. This numerology thing. This is the Allites using their knowledge of the natural cycles of the energy and the frequency that's around us. They're using it against us, and you see it everywhere, right? Especially 33, which, as far as my research has told me, means ascension. That's why in the story Jesus died at 33, right? We have 33 vertebrae that lead up to where? To the temple. this is your temple. You have two of them, right? The temple is your mind, right? The temple of God, if you want to put it that way, which houses the pineal gland, your third eye, which, it's a big story. Jesus was the Christ. The chrism fluid goes up your spine and anoints, right, your third eye. And that's why we have all these, references to anointing and people being covered in oil and stuff before they can speak with God, right? It's all, the story there is, there's definitely something to it, but they have just manipulated our interpretation of it with all of their spells, which of course is why the first thing they teach us at school is spelling.
Bro, 2026 needs to chill out. India are now battling an outbreak of a virus called Nipah, and it's triggered so much concern that various countries across Asia like Nepal, Taiwan, and Thailand have reintroduced screening procedures at their airports so it doesn't enter their countries. When will it end? Now, this comes after hundreds of people were potentially exposed to this disease at a private hospital in West Bengal earlier this month. And while Nipah virus isn't anything new and it's been around for decades, it's causing concern because of its high death rate ranging from 40 to 75%. And even worse, there is zero treatment or cure for it. But the good news is that it isn't as contagious as other airborne diseases. It can only be spread amongst humans through close contact, like bodily fluid, or exposure to infected animals. That being said, the WHO does list this as part of their top priority diseases. So yeah, India, please, we're counting on you to take care of this one.
Another airborne virus, disease, right? Spread via us, virus. More spelling, in my opinion. The WHO? The WHO, who are you, right? The World Health Organization. You see, the only thing we know about all of these organizations and all of these, like the military, the government, the entertainment industry, all we really know for sure is that they lie. They lie to us and they don't like us, right? So why would you believe anything that the WHO said? And as far as that whole thing and going back to the whole, thing, jabby rocky, that we still can't say, that happened back in 2020, that was all about it's airborne. Oh my God, obviously masks, right? Look into germ theory. Look into germ theory, because this is what it's all based on, and there's no evidence to prove it at all. Germs do not travel outside of the body. They don't. There definitely could be an energetic part to this, as far as proteins that are spiky, if you know what I mean. But as far as, physical bits floating around outside in the air that you can accidentally breathe in and, oh my God, it's infected you, I don't believe in that interpretation at all, right? Let me know your thoughts on it. Have you looked into it? Because all of these things, they put up these great, intelligent people make these amazing discoveries, and then all science is predicated off that. It's all made up. Like Marie Curie, right? Mercury. There's just too many weird coincidences when you look into all this stuff. And they put up people like Albert Einstein, the smartest man ever. Yeah, the smartest crossdresser ever too, right? Who married his cousin. These people, and obviously Einstein. He's a double small hat, right? It's all bunk. It's all BS to get us to believe their version of the narrative. This is my opinion, of course. Don't believe what I say. Make up your own mind. Do your own research. But all to get us to believe their version of the narrative to make us more controllable. That's what it all comes down to. How do we get out of this? Well, we don't listen to what they say. We don't believe what they say because we know that they are liars. We start to create our own world through our own thoughts and emotions and feelings, right? When things go wrong, just take it as a lesson. That's what we call a mistake, right? Mistakes don't exist. It's just a mistake. It's just you've worked out one way that it doesn't work, right? A way to do it that's not good. So have another take until you find out the way to do it that works. This is what this is all about, right? Know thyself. But there you go. Have I been ranting? There you go, guys. Thanks for spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed that one. Please, if you did enjoy it and you're still here, give me a like, hype it up, share it around. And of course, if you're not subscribed, what the bloody hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, all that good stuff. And do please leave me your comments. Like I say, I try and get through them all. There's lots though. But every time I go in, I notice that you guys are all chatting with each other. You're all helping each other to learn. You're all putting out your different perspectives. And like I said, we are all pieces of the puzzle. So that's an important thing. So, definitely put your thoughts down there. Let us know what you think. And of course, more than that, stay awesome because you are. And I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Mickey Mouse, radish, slippers, tissue, snacks, slippers, radish, little white rabbit, basketball, soccer ball, basketball, soccer ball, come, sit up, stand, down, sit up, shy, roll over, turn left, down, crawl into the cage, stand in the corner.